Hey again, friends. Today we're going to be talking about emotions because we all have them, but they are very hard to deal with sometimes. And you can't really deal with them unless you understand them a little bit. So I'm also mainly going to be talking about sadness, anger, anxiety or fear, and guilt, because I feel like those are four of the most common emotions that come up, but there's a lot more that I won't go into today at least. So number one is that we have primary emotions and we have secondary emotions. So primary emotions are the initial reaction that you have to a situation. And then the secondary emotion is the reaction that you have to your reaction. So for example, if someone breaks something that belongs to you and that you really care about, you might feel angry at them, but that might be the secondary emotion. And the primary emotion might be that you're really sad that the thing is broken. And then you might be angry that you're sad or that this situation made you sad. So with primary and secondary emotions, dealing with the secondary emotion doesn't really help because you're still feeling the primary emotion. So it's really important to figure out how you're actually feeling deep down or what your initial reaction to a situation is so that you can deal with that. I mean, in the first example that I gave about someone breaking something, if you deal with your anger at them and then you're like, okay, I'm just not going to be angry at them, you're still sad about this thing that's broken. So you're still not going to get over the situation. So that's the first thing, is that you got to figure out how you're actually feeling. How do you do that? For me, something that really helps me figure out how I'm feeling is over time discovering how emotions feel differently in my body, like what my different physiological responses are that tell me what my emotions are. Because emotions are literally feelings, you can feel them. So for me personally, for example, I feel a lot of my emotions in my stomach. Like I feel anxiety in my stomach. It feels like one of those plasma balls where like you put your fingers on the ball and like the electricity goes towards it. That's what my stomach feels like when I'm anxious. Or I might feel sadness in my stomach. A lot of the time sadness is in my chest. It just feels like there's like a weight or a hole like in my chest. But sometimes it feels like there's a hole in my stomach. It feels like someone's taken an ice cream scoop and just scooped out a hole in my stomach. I had a situation once where I had a conversation not go very well with someone. And afterwards I was just feeling super like jittery and like restless, and I just had to like go for a walk, like get all this energy out. And I didn't really understand how I was feeling. And I did like a little body scan meditation thing, and I just tried to like sense where this tension was in my body. And I realized that it was in my chest, and I was like, oh, okay, my chest is feeling weird. That means I'm sad. What am I sad about? And I realized that I was sad that the conversation didn't go as I wanted it to. But I never would have realized that I was sad until I'd done that like body scan thing. And once I knew I was sad, then I could deal with the sadness rather than just being like, I'm anxious and restless and I don't know why. Which brings me on to my next point, is that once you've figured out how you're feeling, you got to figure out what's causing that feeling. So for sadness is caused by loss or grief. It's by losing something. Fear, anxiety is pretty obvious. You're scared of something. Anger is caused by your boundaries being crossed or something being unfair or unjust. And then guilt, here's an important thing. Guilt and shame are different. So guilt is where you think you've done something wrong. It's about your actions or behavior. And shame is where you think there's something wrong with you as a person. So guilt is I've done something wrong, and shame is I am something wrong. So once you've figured out how you're feeling and why you're feeling it, there's a lot of different things that you can do to like not get rid of the emotion. We're not trying to get rid of emotions. Here's another thing. There's no good or bad emotions. They just are, they just exist. Like anger isn't a bad emotion, especially because it tells you when a situation is unfair. And it's not bad to feel sad or anxious or guilty or whatever it is. That's just your body trying to communicate with you. And if you're trying to like get rid of the feeling, it's not going to go away. If you're just like, I want to stop feeling sad, I want to stop feeling jealous or whatever it is, that's not really how emotions work. They're not just gonna, all right, see ya. Most of the time you have to listen to your body, listen to your brain, and be like, what are you trying to tell me? For example, if you're sad because you've lost something, maybe you just need to like be nice to yourself and be like, it's okay that you feel sad. It makes sense. Of course it's sad that you've lost whatever this is, and it's okay for me to take my time to grieve about this. If you're feeling guilty, then you can say to yourself, the fact that I feel guilty about this means that I care about being a good person, and now that I know that I'm guilty about this, what am I going to do to rectify my behavior? If you're feeling fearful or scared or anxious about something, say to yourself, of course I would feel scared about this thing. It's scary. How likely is it that the thing that I'm scared of is going to happen? Or what can I do to make the situation easier? So that's just like a basic overview of what are my emotions telling me. Let me know if you want me to do more about this kind of thing. I'm also really curious where you feel emotions in your body. Like I said, a lot of it happens for me in my stomach, but I know that a lot of people feel things in their hands, people feel things in their shoulders. So yeah, let me know. I'm really curious about this stuff. I hope you're all staying well. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon.